The name Sean Diddy Combs once echoed through the halls of hip-hop like royalty. From platinum records and billion-dollar business ventures to high-profile parties attended by the world's most famous celebrities, Diddy had it all. For decades, he was the embodiment of success, swagger, and untouchable power. But today, those same halls of glory have been replaced by the cold, echoing clank of prison bars. When Diddy finally broke his silence from inside jail, the world listened. His words weren't about luxury, fame, or power. They were about survival. For the first time in his life, the man who seemed larger than life admitted he was scared, broken, and struggling to endure the harsh reality of incarceration. And while the world leaned in with shock, his family, once shielded from the storm by his wealth and influence, were left in tears. The shocking reality behind bars. People think money and fame mean you get special treatment, Diddy reportedly told his legal team during a jailhouse call. But in here, it means you're a target. From the moment he entered the correctional facility, Diddy's experience was nothing like the private jets and million-dollar mansions he once flaunted. Instead, he found himself in a cramped, dimly lit cell, the air thick with the smell of sweat, bleach, and hopelessness. The walls were covered in graffiti etched by men who had long lost their freedom, each carving a reminder that the outside world moves on while they remain trapped. Insiders revealed that guards have kept a particularly close eye on him, not to protect him but to remind him he isn't above the law. One guard allegedly barked at him on his first night, "And here, you're not Diddy. You're just inmate 49726. The humiliation was immediate. The designer clothes were stripped away, replaced by an orange jumpsuit 2 sizes too big. His diamond chains? Gone. His cologne and tailored haircuts? Replaced with prison soap and a buzzing razor that left his scalp uneven. For a man obsessed with image and power, the adjustment cut deeper than any court ruling. The first words that shook his family. In his first message to loved ones, Diddy described his treatment in stark, chilling terms. "They treat me like I'm already guilty of everything they accused me of. It's not justice. It's punishment before the verdict." Those words hit his family like a wrecking ball. His children, who had always known their father as strong, powerful, and in control, were now hearing the fear in his voice. According to sources close to the family, his daughters cried uncontrollably after hearing his first jailhouse call. His sons, who had once followed in his flashy footsteps, remained silent, shaken by the idea that their father was reduced to pleading for fair treatment. Cassie, whose complicated history with Diddy is no secret, reportedly refused to listen to the call, but even she was said to have shed tears when she heard what was happening behind those walls. For a man who had built his empire on dominance, swagger, and control, his voice now carried something it never had before: desperation. The harsh treatment exposed. So, what exactly is happening to Diddy behind bars? Insiders paint a grim picture. Isolation and intimidation. While some celebrity inmates are granted protective custody, sources say Diddy is being kept in a section of the prison where intimidation is constant. Inmates whisper his name, test his limits, and wait for any sign of weakness. Verbal abuse by guards. Multiple reports suggest guards mock him for his fall from grace. "Big man in the music world, but in here you're nothing," one officer allegedly sneered during a routine inspection. Food and living conditions. Used to fine dining and personal chefs, Diddy now receives trays of cold beans, mystery meat, and watery soup. He complained to his lawyers that sometimes the food is so unrecognizable he can barely eat it. 24/7 surveillance. Unlike other inmates, Diddy is constantly watched. Cameras, guards, and even other prisoners monitor his every move, making privacy impossible. This treatment has reportedly left him mentally shaken. In private conversations, he has admitted, "I thought I was strong. I thought I could handle anything. But this is different." The family's tears. Diddy's family, who once lived in the shadow of his fame and power, now find themselves thrust into a nightmare. His daughters, they have been seen leaving court hearings with swollen eyes, clearly shaken by the thought of their father's suffering. Friends say they're struggling to reconcile the image of their powerful dad with the broken man describing jail over scratchy phone lines. His sons, long known for living the high life on yachts, and clubs, and on social media, they've gone unusually quiet. The flashy Instagram posts have slowed, replaced with cryptic messages of pain and loyalty. Extended family, cousins, aunts, and even estranged relatives have reportedly voiced their concern, saying the treatment Diddy describes sounds more like punishment than fair incarceration. The emotional toll is visible. For a family that has always presented themselves as glamorous, confident, and in control, the cracks are now showing. Diddy's own reflections. Perhaps the most haunting part of Diddy's jail revelations is the glimpse into his mind. For a man who spent years building an image of invincibility, he now admits to vulnerability. "I've had time to think," he reportedly told his lawyers. "I think about the things I did right. I think about the things I did wrong. And I wonder, is this karma catching up to me?" Those words, once unthinkable from the mouth of hip-hop's ultimate mogul, are now echoing through the media. For years, Diddy was untouchable. Now, locked away and stripped of power, he is left alone with his thoughts, and the world is finally hearing a version of him it has never known. A world waiting for more. As news of Diddy's jailhouse word spread, social media exploded. Fans expressed shock, critics showed little sympathy, and the entertainment world is divided. Some argue that Diddy is simply facing the consequences of his actions. Others believe the treatment he describes is unfair, even inhumane. But one thing is certain, Diddy has finally broken his silence, and in doing so, he's exposed not just the conditions of jail but the raw emotions of a man who once seemed larger than life. His family is in tears, his reputation shattered, and his future uncertain. And this is just the beginning. When the public first heard that Diddy had been convicted and sentenced, many assumed his celebrity status would protect him. After all, countless famous figures in the past had managed to live relatively shielded lives in prison. But insiders quickly revealed that this was not the case for Sean Diddy Combs. Instead, what awaited him behind those walls was a stark, unforgiving reality that no fame or fortune could soften. A day in the life of inmate 49726. Prison life is designed to strip individuality, and Diddy is no exception. Insiders shared a chilling, hour-by-hour look into his daily existence. 5:30 a.m., the wake-up call every morning begins not with an alarm clock or a gentle knock at his penthouse suite, but with the shrill sound of metal slamming against metal. Guards shout, doors clang open, and inmates shuffle groggily from their bunks. Diddy, once accustomed to sleeping past sunrise in silk sheets, now wakes on a thin mattress that barely cushions the steel frame beneath him. 6 a.m., breakfast gone are the gourmet meals crafted by private chefs. Breakfast consists of watery oatmeal, a bruised banana, and sometimes a piece of stale bread. Inmates line up with plastic trays, guards barking orders as though feeding livestock. Diddy reportedly struggles to swallow the food, often leaving his tray half-finished. "It feels like punishment," he confessed to his attorney. "Even the food tastes like humiliation." 7 a.m., roll call. Every inmate is counted, inspected, and reminded of their insignificance. For Diddy, this ritual is particularly painful. To go from commanding boardrooms and studios to standing silently while a guard checks his name against a number is a daily reminder of how far he has fallen. 9 a.m., work detail or lockdown. Inmates are often assigned tasks, cleaning floors, working in the kitchen, or laundry duty. Though some insiders claim Diddy has tried to avoid manual labor due to his high-profile status, others insist he has been forced into janitorial work under close supervision. They want to break him, one source alleged. They want to show that he's not above the system. 12 p.m., lunch. Another tray of mystery meat, overcooked beans, and lukewarm water. Rumors swirl that other inmates intentionally bump into him in the cafeteria, testing his patience, waiting for a reaction. Diddy reportedly keeps his head down, aware that any confrontation could escalate into violence. 2 p.m., yard time. For many inmates, the yard is a chance to breathe fresh air, exercise, or socialize. For Diddy, it's both a blessing and a curse. While the open space offers relief from the claustrophobic cells, it also exposes him to stares, whispers, and intimidation from those eager to challenge his celebrity. "They look at me like prey," he told his legal team. "Like I don't belong here, but also like I do." 5 p.m., dinner is often no better than lunch, a small portion of rice, a slice of bread, sometimes a greasy piece of chicken. Diddy has lost noticeable weight since his incarceration, with sources claiming his once broad shoulders now slump under the weight of stress and poor nutrition. 7 p.m., lockdown doors slam shut, echoing through the halls. Diddy spends the evening in near total silence, alone with his thoughts. No parties, no entourages, no flashing cameras, just the dim light of his cell and the sound of other inmates shouting, crying, or fighting in the distance. 10 p.m., lights out. Sleep doesn't come easy. The thin mattress, the constant noise, and the gnawing anxiety keep him awake. Rumors suggest he often paces his cell long after lights out, mumbling prayers, or staring at the ceiling in disbelief. Psychological warfare. While the physical conditions of jail are harsh, the mental toll is proving even worse. Guards and inmates alike reportedly engage in psychological games designed to wear him down. The guards' mockery, they remind him of his lost empire. "No VIP here, Puff Daddy," one allegedly taunted. "Just another number." Such words, though simple, cut deep for a man whose entire identity was built on being larger than life. The inmates challenges. Some inmates treat him as a trophy target. If they can provoke or even harm him, it earns them respect among others. Diddy's strategy so far has been silence and avoidance, but insiders warn that one slip could cost him dearly. Isolation and loneliness. While some argue that protective custody would shield him, others say the isolation itself is punishment. Long hours with no company but his own thoughts reportedly push him toward despair. The family's image cracks. While Diddy suffers inside, his family faces its own battle on the outside. The daughters, once proud to flaunt their glamorous lifestyle, they now avoid cameras and interviews. Friends say they feel helpless and haunted by their father's suffering. The sons, social media has noticed the change. Their usual flashy posts of luxury cars and designer clothes have slowed. Instead, cryptic captions like "Pray for better days" and "Family over everything" hint at the pain they're enduring. The extended family, even relatives who once basked in Diddy's fame, are pulling away. Some fear being associated with his downfall, while others openly defend him, sparking family feuds that add to the emotional chaos. The once untouchable Combs brand is now fractured. Paparazzi catch glimpses of relatives leaving court hearings in tears, while gossip columns speculate about arguments behind closed doors. Celebrity reactions. Diddy's silence breaking has sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Supportive voices, a handful of celebrities, have spoken out in his defense, insisting that regardless of his charges, no human deserves inhumane treatment. Some